Are you struggling to break through the challenges holding your business back? Well, you're not alone. And today I've got you covered. In this video, I'm going to be walking you through 3 simple processes that you can use to start solving the problems that business owners face every single day that are easy to use and easy to adopt to start solving real problems in your company to grow your revenue, grow your profit, and get past whatever rut you might be stuck in. And these are strategies where I use every single month in my portfolio, where I own over 6 businesses, and we've consulted over 1,000 different companies. These strategies work. Now, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Jordan Ross. I run 8-Figure Agency. We're a growth consultancy and portfolio where we help businesses scale by solving their operational problems. And before we dive in, I want to start with what most business gurus and experts tell you that I think is really bad advice. Most business experts and a lot of gurus on the internet will tell you to aggregate a list of your problems, put those problems on a board, and just start solving them one by one. And that's actually the worst way to go about it, because what ends up happening, we have cognitive bias. We want to solve the most annoying emotional problems rather than the problems that are actually the most important. So the first tool, which is actually not the tool that we're going to use to start solving these problems, is actually understanding the math behind your business. When I go into any company, I use something called constraints theory to identify where we need to focus the most when solving business problems. Constraint theory says that a business or an operation can only go as fast or grow as much as its largest constraint, which if you think about this in a production line at a warehouse, if I had 10 steps in my production line and I was producing, let's just say, water bottles, and each part of that production line produced at a different speed. One part we're able to produce the cups, that's able to produce 100 cups an hour. One step of the process is making the straws, that produces at 50 steps an hour. And another step produces, the lids, and that produces 10 an hour. In constraints theory, based on that one production line, that line could only move as fast as 10 units per hour because the slowest part or the biggest constraint could only move at 10 per hour. So no matter what happens, that one part, the part that's going to be the slowest, is 10. So that's where we start. So the way we can look at this from a math perspective is how many leads a month do you generate? How many sales per month do you generate based on your closing rate? If you book 100 calls a month and you close at a 20% rate, you're going to bring on 20 clients a month. Now, if you multiply your 20 clients a month by the average retainer, that's going to give you the average new recurring revenue you bring on per month. So that's the first 3 constraints. That's leads, sales, price. Then you have capacity. Capacity says how many customers can you actually bring in per month? And to set your capacity, it's just looking at how many clients you could actually onboard based on the limits of every team member. Now that might be 3, 5, 10, 20, but if you could onboard and sell 20 a month, but you could only fulfill or onboard because of capacity 5 a month, that's going to be your first constraint. That's going to be the bigger constraint. Then we have lifetime value. How many months do clients stay? And this becomes an equation that you need to run. We won't go too deep into it, but if you just look up the pie equation, or if you go to the link below, I will actually give you a link and a training on how you could calculate lifetime value to figure out which one of these constraints is the most important. So before we actually start solving problems, we want to solve the right problems, and we want to do it based on the math. Like I said, business gurus are just going to tell you fix problems that are the most emotional. I want you to fix the problems that's actually going to grow your business. Now, there's 3 ways I like to encourage my clients and operate in my business to solve problems. The first way I like to solve problems is what I call the AAR. Whenever something breaks, we do a reflection called the after action review. Now, the after action review actually comes from the US military special ops, where we go through a series of 6 questions to identify, what we were supposed to do versus what happened, to then create new actions. When something breaks or something goes wrong and we're able to solve it then and there, what I want to do is just ask 6 questions. What were the intended results? What were the actual results? What will we do the same next time? What will we do differently next time? What are the assigned actions, and who is the assigned owner to implement those actions? You can implement this anytime something breaks, anytime you lose a client, anytime you under deliver on a campaign, anytime things take too long. The first thing as a business owner is you want to give your team member this type of format and this type of template to start solving problems on their own, because what happens is most founders solve problems for their team members, and team members never build the brain connectivity, they don't build that habit of thinking on their own, and they start to become reliant on managers. We don't want that. I want you to give your team members this simple process. I want them to start improving on their own. And if you just do this one thing, your business will start to improve bit by bit, and it will go 1% better every single time you have a problem and you start to fix it. Now, that might not be sufficient. You might have some more complex problems that require more thought. In one of my businesses in my portfolio, one of my CEOs told me that we had a team member that performed well on one account but didn't on the other. And when he said he did the AAR didn't give him the reason on why. So what I told him is the AAR is a good initial tool, but we need to go a little bit deeper into the surface to figure out what's going on. So the next tool that I brought to him was called the 5 Why analysis. The 5 Why analysis is an operational tool that you look at a problem and you ask why it happened 5 times to get to what we call the root cause. A root cause means we get to the core reason of why something's actually happening. And what I'm about to do, I'm going to give you an example of how this could actually play out. This is all made up. This isn't actually real, but we're going to go through it. Why did this person underperform? This person underperformed because the client expected something different versus what they actually did. Why did the client expect something different versus what they actually did? Client expected something different because they didn't have an appropriate timeline. Why didn't the client have an appropriate timeline? We don't have an effective process for creating a timeline with the client. Why don't we have an effective process? Well, we don't have a process to make a clear timeline and present it. Boom. The root cause is not that they underperformed. The root cause is a process issue that we didn't have a timeline that we set with the client to start. So that's an example of how you could use the 5 Why to start solving problems that aren't exactly so clear as to why they're happening when you do an AAR. Now, you might do that and you still might not be able to solve a problem. You still might not truly understand why something's happening. And before you make new actions, you need to get to the root cause, but you don't know how to do that. And when this happens, when we have a more complex problem where there's more factors at play, I like to bring in what I call the fishbone diagram. Now, the fishbone diagram is an exercise where you take an issue. In this case of the first diagram, you have customers churning, and you look at multiple factors as to why those things are happening, right? So in this first example, we have unsatisfactory services, we have bad quality, bad relationships. There's also external factors like influencers and competitors. We look at multiple factors and identify what are all the sub-steps of those factors that are actually leading to the output, which is churn in this example. Now, this could change. It doesn't have to be those things. You can pick the factors at play. You can pick the things. In this example, we have manpower, method, machine, measurement, mother nature, material. These are the common ones that if you went to university, like I did, and I have a degree in operations, you would learn this in university. Now, the purpose of this is to take a problem that has multiple factors. It isn't as simple as just asking why 5 times. You have to look at everything visually on a page or on a screen and say, okay, here are all the factors. And after looking at it, there's multiple causes that are actually leading to the problem, actually leading to this. And when you look at it like this, and if we go back to the first example, we're having churn issues because we have bad quality, but we also have bad customer service. Okay, let's break down quality. What are all the reasons we have bad quality? You just list out. We have bad quality because we have this. These are the 5 reasons. Why do we have bad customer service? We have bad customer service because of this, right? So a lot of times we could look at all the reasons we have a bad output, and that bad output could be losing clients. And here's the guided question when you're using the fishbone. If we could only solve one of these problems, what's the most impactful problem to solve that hence by solving it would get us closer to where we want to be? And then you pick the most impactful problem and then you assign new actions and you go through it. That's a little bit more complex, but that's how you use the fishbone. So before I move forward, if this video has been adding value to you, make sure you like the video, share it, and subscribe to my channel. Every week, I'm going to be showing up on your feed to help you solve your business problems and help you grow your business by building a better operation and process. Now back to it. When it comes to all these tools, we have constraint theory, we have the after action review, we have the AAR, we have the fishbone diagram. They could all be pretty confusing, and learning how to implement these into your business could be hard. But if you go to 8figureagency.co and you want a free consultation from us, we can start to work with you on how to actually implement these into your business, and I'm more than happy to do that. If you made this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in not only learning how to solve problems but grow your business, I made another video where I detail how in just 60 days I went from $0 to $600,000 in annual revenue, and I break down the core steps of how I did it so you can do the same. Make sure you click the link on the screen to check that video out. Thank you.